to be like the intro to it, except the cursor's in the way, kind of ruining things. Oh, we got a fire here. Let's take some video of this. This is what we're looking for. We need this in the show. Get out, you bums. We want tourists in here instead. Alright, since this is an episode about tourism, I have to show some of that in the game, and not just talk nonsense the whole show.
Oh, I got mugged again.
And finally, here it is, the only 10-star hotel in our solar system, the Moon Hotel. Built on a crater in the moon, or so we're advertising, this hotel features low gravity water slides, a low gravity golf course, and various other features. The New Moon Hotel and the Moon Hotel, both 10-star rated. Well, I changed my name to Agent Krasnov. Turns out getting a third term wasn't so hard. Just had to legally change my name. Hey everyone, Brento here. Welcome to another episode of Dump City. Check it out, we're way into the future now. Why? Because I still suck at this game, and it took me this long to almost clear this stage of the campaign. Just a few more tourists needed to finish it though. But before we finish this century-long quest, what's on the show, you ask? Like a penguin would ask a polar bear? Well, I'm going to cover the tourism mechanic of Tropico 6. I'm also going to discuss an idea for a megatall building I think needs to be built in the US. Taller than Burj Khalifa. I'm then going to share an idea for a YouTube feature I wish existed. Maybe my criticism of the platform will get me banned, who knows? Also, while doing all this, I'm going to do video recordings for the theme of this very show. Finally, I'll finish this stage of the campaign, unless something unforeseen happens. But before we do this, we gotta do more tips for noobs. So the first tip is, no colleges? Well, you can do pirate raids instead. Just rescue educated people. You don't need colleges. Also, with my schools here, my high schools, they're full, and I have it set so that only rich kids can go to school. So I don't have that many high schools. I only have 2, and I have almost, 1,900 people with only 2 high schools. If you look at my vacant jobs, it's working out okay. I have a good balance of things. So pirates combined with rich kids in school, you can get away with just 2 high schools. That's your first tip. Next tip here is to consider using pickpockets at the buskers. Here we got some buskers here. They do shows on the sidewalk. You probably see these. If you live in a city, you probably see these buskers. Configure them to be pickpockets. They can steal money, and then you don't have to give them as much money. It's a good tip, right? And on the topic of tourism, don't forget to research supply local market on your pharmacy buildings here. See what they do here? They increase the productivity of your nightclubs and your stadium. So if you it accumulates up to 30%, as you can see here. So be sure to have 3 pharmacies with this mode set, which I do. I actually have 4 of them set with this. And it increases the efficiency of some of your entertainment buildings. So there you go. That's more tips for noobs. So if you recall where we last left off, I went bankrupt after winning an election. So to get where we are now, I had to restore a stave from just before the election, and I was a little bit more conservative in how I spent my money. I've also built a metro since then, quite a bit of metros actually. So if you look here, see these blue circles? That's a metro entrance. So this whole thing is basically covered in metros now. There is no underground view, so frankly, I don't know how the people get from station to station. I just know they go in one station and come out in the other, like you saw at the start of the show. Also, check out this oil rig town I made. This is new since last episode. We were just building this oil rig. This was an agriculture district last episode. Oil from the oil rig, it goes all the way around here with the help of Teamsters ports. Here we have one. So rather than haul the oil across the roads, little boats take it to the Teamster port, then bring it to the dock. Where does the oil go? To American pharma companies? Or maybe it goes to China. This show is so bad. Don't listen to this guy. It's nothing but fake news. We've also built all these tourists since the last episode. Check it out. We have Dump Motel. This thing's always been full since I built it. I don't know why. It's right beside the dump if you look here. Lots of pollution. Not very beautiful. But if you select the building, check out the numbers. It makes a lot of money. We also built here the litter boat. You know, there's a love boat, but the litter boat costs half as much to maintain. In addition to smart people being captured by pirates, we have an edict here called the Spelling Bee. See what it does here? There's a 12% chance at level 2 that these high school people will get a college degree. So that's another thing that combos with having no college. Spelling Bee and pirates. Another thing I tried while building the society over the many years was I tried some various constitutional variations. For a while I was a Christian theocracy around the 2030s. It didn't work out so well. Turned out this was like the best setting. I've built a few industries since the last episode. We got some plastics here now that take advantage of this oil. Dump brand furniture now has casting molds, so it can use plastic to make furniture in addition to wood planks. I've also got involved in the fashion industry. This produces apparel. Is that how you pronounce it? Apparel. This now produces apparel. You'll notice too, it has an upgrade here. It's a factory outlet, so this actually improves the housing quality of nearby residential buildings. So that's something cool. Let's do some pictures now for the theme of the show. Here we go. This is what Dump City looks like. We can expand this way as well. Let's have a look at the city in realistic mode here. Imagine we're playing some cool music here rather than me blabbing. This could be like the intro to it, except the cursor's in the way, kind of ruining things. Let's go on a helicopter tour here across the city quite rapidly. Try not to hit a building. This is what the world looks like in the future. Okay, I'm going to share with you my idea for the world's tallest building. It would be 1 mile tall, making it 50% taller than Burj Khalifa, I think. I don't know. I don't know how tall that building is. It would be called The One. However, I feel it should be built in downtown LA for reasons I'm about to explain. See, it would have a Matrix theme to it, with images of Neo, Trinity, and Morpheus everywhere. But what I think makes this a cool idea is the observation deck idea. See, I would put a statue of Neo on it and have no railings. Obviously, you couldn't go on this observation deck. It would be too dangerous at that altitude. It would have to be protected by large plate glass windows. But near the elevator, I'd put a wired phone booth, like in the movie. If you call the operator, then a plate glass window could lift, letting you walk onto the deck. This way, window cleaners and maintenance guys could take care of windows and lighting when security buzzes them through. Anyways, that's my idea for the world's tallest building called The One. Oh, we got a fire here. Let's take some video of this. This is what we're looking for. We need this in the show. This is part of it. And the firecopter put it out. Nice job. Alright, since this is an episode about tourism, I have to show some of that in the game, and not just talk nonsense the whole show. So the basics of tourism are you have regular Tropicans and you have these tourists here.
I want to watch TV.
The Tropican here has all these things they do. They got like an education and they have a workplace and all this information about them.
Better be ice cream.
You can do similar actions to your tourists. But the thing is, both these tourists and the Tropicans will visit these locations. However,
I'll work on my tan.
the tourists will pay 5 to 6 times more than the locals. So right here, here's a destination. It's actually full. I'm cutting off how many people are in it, but it's completely full. And there's this checkbox for tourists only. So if you ever notice your buildings are getting full and you don't have this checked off, be sure to check it off because you'll make way more money if you have high-paying tourists in your tourist destinations. Oh my, look at this casino here. It's full and it doesn't have it checked off. Get out, you bums. We want tourists in here instead. Now, if we select a hotel here, we can have a look at some attributes to it. Only your tourists stay in the hotel, okay? Here we can look at the various types that are staying in here. You'll see the tourist type. Again, your locals don't have a tourist type. Here we got a cultural. Here we got a thrill-seeking. And if we actually look at this building, the building itself, it's preferred by relaxation. So this tourist is in the right hotel, basically. They'll generally try to match to the hotel that they want to stay at. You'll also notice there's a required wealth for the hotel. So you can only have well-off or better tourists in this hotel. And each tourist has a category of well-off, rich, or super rich that could be in here. And as you know, there's broke and poor people, which wouldn't be allowed in this hotel. Let's have a look at the tourists here.
That wasn't in the brochures.
You'll see here too, in addition to some information about them, where they're from and what they're looking for and their income status, there's happiness here. So you can see what kind of things are influencing their opinion. This one's given a 97. That's pretty good. You can also see what kind of things they've been doing. It looks like positive. Wasn't mugged at the buskers. That's a good thing. Some of them get mugged a lot.
Is this area dangerous?
Pack feels like 100 pounds.
I want to watch TV.
I got mugged again.
A thing too you'll want to make sure is there's no fighting. Previous episode I had a lot of guerrilla insurgencies, so apparently if there's combat near the tourists, your tourists are going to leave. And it might end up being that they just leave a negative rating too, so maybe they don't immediately leave. But generally you don't want to have guerrilla uprisings in your tourist mecca. A few other things too I've got enabled is I've got legalized substances. You'll notice here it increases the thrill-seeking tourist and relaxation tourist rating by 20. Cultural diversity increases cultural tourist and backpacker tourist ratings by 15. It's important not to have too many white people on your beaches. The marketing material would make it look like you can't get a good tan here if that was the case. I also got the good old days edict in effect. You'll see how it increases tourist rating by 4 and 3 for each fort and 1 for each guard tower up to a cap of 17. So that's another thing I got going on here. Let's check the Constitution here. I have open marriage, which seems to affect overall tourism by 2. This guy here appears to add 5 to tourism. So these are all the things I got going on to make people want to come to this tourist hotspot. So to bring people in, basically you have to have ports, these economy line ports here. They bring in well-off tourists. Over here, we got one set to luxury liner. This brings in rich people. I have 2 yacht clubs here with upgrades that have private landings. These bring in filthy rich people. This airport here has no frills set. This brings in well-off people. And this airport over here brings in filthy rich people. Tourist ports and hotels won't be enough to get people in here. You also need attractions. They might come, but they won't come in mass unless there's lots of stuff for them to do to give ratings. So here we got this roller coaster here, set to best G ever. You know, basically, the more intense the ride is, the more money they'll pay for it. We also have this dungeon, which is pretty cool. This is a unique building. I can only build one of these. Wonders also act as tourist attractions here. The Taj Mahal, basically when people die, they give me all their money, but also tourists can visit it. Maybe I'll set this to tourists only so it makes a bit more money. We don't want these poor locals using it now, do we? Another wonder I built was this castle. I'm also going to set this to tourists only. I believe this building also boosts my tourist rating. And over here we have ourselves the Brandenburg Gate, which was also a way to make myself a little bit more likely to get voted in. This seems to stabilize the politics, this wonder. Don't know the exact details of it, but I gained 15% approval rating basically when I built this, and it's a tourist attraction. If you're playing New Frontiers, you get the Spaceport Complex, which you can have tourist joyrides in. We have ourselves a stadium here, very full, and it's being boosted by 3 pharmacies. Same with this nightclub here. Another thing I got going on here is the Cyber Operations Center. Basically, this gives me the option to give fantasy reviews. So this is another way to boost your tourism. If you want to do real tourism, just like real life, go in and get people to give you a bunch of artificial positive reviews. This is how you get tourists in the game, and this is how you would get tourists in real life. It's also another reason why Dump Motel always gets 5 stars, and it's always full, and it's always making lots of money. And finally, here it is, the only 10-star hotel in our solar system, the Moon Hotel. Built on a crater in the moon, or so we're advertising, this hotel features low gravity water slides, a low gravity golf course, and various other features that super rich people want. Nobody in this hotel is poor. There isn't even well-off people allowed here. This is the highest end hotel in the game, and there's the new Moon Hotel beside it. You get a view of Moon Lake here. What more can you ask for? The new Moon Hotel and the Moon Hotel, both 10-star rated. So a few things about this actual hotel here. Moon Airport here has an upgrade here with metro system. One thing I noticed too is there's no residential buildings around here. This is also a nice hotel, the Moon Peasant Hotel. This is only for rich people. Every amenity around here is for rich people. This requires club membership. We got the opera. I don't know why no one ever visits the opera. We got the Moon Nightclub. No one's in it right now. Gourmet Moon Food. Moon Art. Putting a metro station in the airport, I discovered, lets you move your workers and all kinds of tourists through it to get to work here. So we don't actually need any residential buildings here. So if you wanted to do this in real life, like let's say you set up hotels near Baffin Island or something like that and want to say it's Mars or the moon, and you send like rockets that are actually just planes, and you cover up the windows and you send all the rich people out there, they won't know. Okay, maybe the gravity, you could maybe give them some pills or something and they think gravity's different. I don't know. You could lace the water. Their perception could change, but this is how you would do a Moon Hotel IRL, right? On a real moon golf course, each hole would be several miles long. We got an Anunnaki graveyard here. There's another one over here. Ancient ruins. They have multiple work modes. It can operate as a regular tourist destination, but also here, you can make it so that certain types of tourists visit it. But there's this mode here, archaeological dig site, which I configured the Anunnaki graveyard. Basically, it generates research instead of money, which is kind of pointless because what do rich people actually teach us? No one was visiting it, so it was losing money, so I had to pause it. It's configured to the last mode, which is unofficial scavenging site, which seems to ultimately increase Swiss bank dollars. It looks like it gives me about 3 Swiss dollars per day, so maybe about 90 per month. which is not bad. It's actually not a bad deal. And everything that they can see, all the guests here, they can't see any other building. I looked from all perspectives. You can't see any other buildings other than what you think is part of this resort at the Moon Hotel. That's why it was built here. There you go. Maybe that's some useful information. If you're learning tourism, maybe you'll find that handy. If you're not playing the game, maybe you don't give a crap. So that's basically how tourism works in this game. I gave you an overview of how you get tourists in and some of the things you have to do, some of the aspects of it. Maybe it's useful, maybe it's not, but let's get on to the next topic. I want to share an idea now for something called a super like. Have you ever watched a video so good you wish you could give it 3 likes? Well, if YouTube offered a super like button once a week, you could do just that. Can't bank it, can't ever use more than one. Think of it as your weekly quest. You know, like every MMO on the market today, just one giant thumbs up to give one video in any given week. You would earn a new one every Monday morning. Save them until Sunday if you really want to be discerning. You could always take one back from a previous video and give it to a better video so long as you award it before the end of the week. Don't waste it. It would be a shame not to do your weekly quest, now would it? Gotta watch more YouTube videos to properly allocate that super like. What do you think of the idea? If I had to wager, based on what I know about human psychology, I would say most people are giving this video a thumbs down just for making a suggestion. That's just how people are. You suggest something, it's a bad idea. It's always a bad idea, right? So the way to gauge whether this is actually a good idea would be to see how much thumbs down it gets versus how much it would normally get. You know, obviously if someone in high authority makes such a suggestion, it's 100% thumbs up. But if a random person makes it, it's usually 50% thumbs down by default. But if that's all it is, then it means maybe it's a good idea. But if YouTube actually implements this, just remember you heard it here first. And all I ask is millions of dollars and everyone's feeds full of video recommendations all from this channel for the next 5 years as payment. All right, back to the game here. Oh wow, we actually did this here. I didn't notice. We filled up the tourist bin. I got to put some more money in here. How much do we have to add? Okay, there we go.
So much money in one place,
Let's do this.
It feels like
Let's
we
take the
could
fusion
actually swim in
reactor.
it like dogs.
Almost done here.
Closer. Mwah, mwah. Got you.
All right, that was kind of weird. So let's build the fusion reactor here. And I think we're almost done if we can get this in here. Oh, it has to reach into water. Okay, that's where we can place it. Let's do that. All right, let's send Donald Dump to visit Dump Plaza.
Places should come to me.
Takes them a while to get through the metro system. I guess it's simulating the time it takes to use a metro system, but you can't actually see it. You can't see the trains. It's just all a timer system. Let's see how long it takes for him to get there. Oh, I got to do these things too. I got to deliver other things. Okay, let's send some electronics to the laboratory as well. I think I have some in a warehouse here. I don't make them, but I have a bunch of warehouses full of stuff. It's a bit of a tip too, I guess, if you're playing along. You want to warehouse various useful goods. Yeah, let's do this here. Oh, and I got to also move this Lagrange's lab to the... Okay, so I guess I have no choice but to move this. Let's put it there. Let's add a row. Right there. Don't forget to stay at Dump Plaza. It's still the tallest hotel in town. The Moon Hotel is puny. It only has 6 rooms. The Moon Hotel is filled with weirdos. I think it has a rat infestation too. All right, let's build a fire station here. Let's send Agent Krasnov to the Moon Hotel. And now we have to do this here. Activate the cure at the laboratory. Let's see if this works. Agent Krasnov appears to be stuck in the metro system. Can't make him talk if he's not going to get out of the metro system. Maybe I could make them talk before then. We'll see. We did it. We made it to the next stage of the campaign. Hopefully Brento stops doing these terrible voices. He's not very good at impersonations. Let's send him to do a speech at the New Moon Hotel. This actually increases efficiency of a lot of buildings. Visits do that with tourism, and they increase the efficiency for, I believe, 10% for 4 months on most other buildings. And if you visit an embassy, I think it improves your standing. So that's kind of what these visits do. But I think we're just about done here. I think I just got to activate the cure, and we're done the stage of the campaign. Let's go. Yes, finally. Finally did
I'm
it.
not seeing anything.
This took a century to finish. I had to spend a lot of hours for this stage of the campaign. Again, if you're, it's a good value for looking at it that way, but maybe I shouldn't have played hard difficulty. But at least I finished it. So it can be done on hard difficulty. But the next stage, I want to actually finish this with less effort. Maybe do it in 60 years or less, because I get better. The more I'm playing, the better I get, and the more I can show the game, and the more nonsense I can share with you. All right, let's click win game here. See what we get. Uh-oh.
Professor Leonardo Lagrange, a pioneer who helped Tropico achieve greatness.
Bit of a spoiler here.
This is a tremendous loss, my friends. Professor Lagrange started us all on this journey to space. If only he wasn't so allergic to radiation and explosions, he might have made it. Here lies what we were able to recover of Professor Lagrange's body. May you rest in peace, old friend. We'll scatter your ashes among the stars, just as you always wanted.
Presidente,
What now? Why now?
my apologies, Presidente, but I felt this couldn't wait.
What could possibly be?
There was a leak online. They know everything. The fake moon landing, the actors, the film, everything. Even the photos of you and, Hector.
God damn it, Alto!
You have done it, Presidente. Victory is ours.
There you go. That's stage 3 of the campaign. Making money. We got through it on hard difficulty. I'll do hard difficulty for the next one. We'll see how that works. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Leave some feedback, leave some comments. Do you like the voices? I'm not very good at them, I'll admit. I'm just trying to make this entertaining. But hopefully you learned a thing or two about tourism in this episode at least. And maybe you learned a thing about the New Frontiers campaign and a little bit about the game in general too in this episode. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next week. And all I ask is millions of dollars and everyone's feeds full of video recommendations, all from this channel, for the next 5 years as payment.